Neo was told, he was drafted, he was ordered by the oracle to go see Merovian. Merovian, who is a very old and high-ranking program in the Matrix, basically is telling Neo, Morpheus, and Trinity that the only liberty and freedom is to know the why. And he observes that you don't know it, therefore you have no commercial clout or no power even out of the commercial world here. Therefore, I will just give you an order and let you do what you're ready to do. Follow orders. Neo is rebelling. He's going, this isn't over. What is Neo thinking? He has no power. Actually, what he's doing by saying this isn't over, he's trying to draft Merovian, and he has no commercial energy by which to do it. Merovian is not concerned at all. Merovian is now standing at the table, and he responds and he says, oh yes it is. The keymaker is mine, and I see no reason why I should give him up. No reason at all. For instance, in the commercial world of the Matrix, what consideration has Neo offered to Merovian for an exchange of access to the keymaker? Zip. He's offered nothing. And Merovian's going, there's nothing in it for me. I've got the why. You're here to try to get something to change the system. You don't know the why because I know the why and have withheld the why from you. I've got the power. You haven't got the power. Now get out of here. Isn't that basically what happens when we appear before the judge? We are there and we want to draft the judge for a remedy, but we haven't got the why. Therefore, we have no understanding. Therefore, all of our actions are incapable of getting a remedy because we don't have the power. We want an effect out of the matrix. We want the judge to allow us to go home with no penalty. We want the judge to allow us to make our own choices irregardless of the statutes of the state, the rules of the matrix, or the funds required by the commercial structures in the matrix. But we don't have the answer to the why. We don't have the power. Now, Merovian is standing at his feet, and he's already said goodbye. He has something to do, and Persephone, his wife, dressed in white, sitting at the table, says, "Where are you going?" Persephone is one of the daughters of the Greek gods. That name is used all the time in Hollywood movies. My friend Nick reminds me that the Persephone was the name of a vessel that was used in one of the recent movies coming out of Hollywood in the story of, was the Chinese guy that was keeping the relic, and he came to America to find somebody to guard the relic for the next 70 years. It's a real recent film. It'll come to me in a minute. He came over to America in the Persephone. She says, "Where are you going?" Her husband, Merovian, says, "Please, my wife, I have told you, we are all victims of causality. I drink too much wine, I must take a piss, cause and effect." So Merovian leaves. His bodyguard moves to escort Trinity out of the chair, and Trinity looks at him and says, "Touch me, and that hand will never touch anything again. To which the bodyguard lets her get up out of the chair alone. Trinity, Morpheus, and Neo leave, go to the elevator, and they're going down. As they're going down, Neo looks at Trinity and Morpheus and says, well, that didn't go so well. Morpheus, remember, always the one following prophecy, knowing that there is a cause and effect for everything, says, are you sure the oracle didn't tell you anything else, Neo? And Neo says, yes, I'm sure she didn't tell me anything else. Trinity says, are you sure we didn't do something wrong? Neo says, or didn't do something. Remember what we always said? It's sometimes not what you did, it's what you didn't do that affects the outcome. Morpheus said then to them, no, what happened, happened, and couldn't have happened in any other way. What's this indicating? Everything you did is meant to be and done for a reason. Neo says, how do we know? Or how do you know? Morpheus says, we're still alive. Understand this. They went into the heart of the matrix with the most dangerous program and the most dangerous bodyguards there. They asked for the most secret things of the matrix that would really destroy the matrix, and the enemy just said, go ahead and leave. Don't we always worry when we go see the judge in court? When we all go to the IRS conference and we're all going, God, I wonder if I'm going to get out of there alive. See, what's extremely interesting is, and what you're going to see here in a minute with our third discussion, is that you don't realize it, but you and the matrix are linked. And that they are not necessarily the enemy that you perceive them to be. And even though you have these mental anguish for foreboding of these meetings and these events, they're all meant to happen. The facts are all predetermined. It's not the occurrences and the facts. It's the path of your understanding the why that it's all about, not the what. And so as the elevator proceeds on down, it opens on another floor. And outside the elevator is Persephone, the wife of Merovian. And she looks at Neo, Trinity, and Morpheus and says, you want to find the keeper of the keys? Follow me. And they follow her out of the elevator. So the meeting was meant to occur, and the meeting with the person or the party that they thought was going to give them the answer was filled with much truth. However, the real purpose of the meeting wasn't to get the correct answer or the remedy out of Merovian. It was to get it out of his wife, which was a collateral issue as a result of their meeting with Merovian. Finally, tonight, we're going to go to the most incredible conversation in The Matrix 2 that takes place in the movie. And this takes place after the Keymaker has gotten them into the building which houses the mainframe and the source for the matrix. Through the hall, through the secret doors and the secret locks, which puts Neo in front of the door to the mainframe so that he can go in and shut down the computer programs that are running the matrix. And as Neo puts the key into the lock and the door dissolves into a brilliant white light and absorbs Neo and brings him into the room, he sees a gentleman sitting in that room who looks up at Neo and says, "Hello, Neo." And Neo looks at him and says, "Who are you?" And the man answers, "I am the architect. I created the matrix. I've been waiting for you. You have many questions. And though the process has altered your consciousness, you remain irrevocably human. Ergo, some of my answers you will understand and some you will not. Accordingly, while your first question may be the most pertinent, it is also the most irrelevant." Neo responds. Neo has been learning. What is Neo's first question? Remember, he kept going everywhere, finding out what. Now he says to the architect, "Why am I here?" Good job, Neo. You're improving. The architect. You got to love the architect. If people want these transcripts, I will get them for you. If you go watch the movie, you will never, ever remember these responses. Watching this movie 3 or 4 times. Because the architect is like a PhD of something at a college which speaks in a strange language of multifaceted, multisyllable words high up in the dictionary to say very simple things in such a way that it's meant to confuse you. So in answer to Neo's question, "Why am I here?" he says the following. Your life is the sum of a remainder of an unbalanced equation inherent in the programming of the matrix. You are the eventuality of an anomaly which, in spite of my sincerest efforts, I have been unable to eliminate from what is otherwise a harmony of mathematical precision. While it remains a burden assiduously avoided, it is not unexpected and thus not beyond a measure of control, which has led you inexorably here. Got that so far? Neo says, "You have not answered my question." To which the architect says, "Quite right. Interesting. That was quicker than the others." What did the architect just do? Not answered his question to begin with. But it appeared in all his high syllabable words that he was saying an awful lot. Let's go back. Your life is the sum of a remainder of an unbalanced equation inherent in the programming of the matrix. Who is Neo? Someone programmed in the matrix. Wait a minute, I thought Neo was free of the matrix, wasn't he? How could he be the sum of a remainder of an unbalanced equation inherent in the programming of the matrix if he's free of the matrix? He goes on and he says, "You are the eventuality of an anomaly which, in spite of my sincerest efforts, I have been unable to eliminate from what is otherwise a harmony of mathematical precision. This is the guy that programmed the matrix. He tried to do a perfect program, and he's saying, you, Neo, have screwed up my perfect world. But then he goes on and says, while you've screwed it up, while it remains a burden, assiduously avoided, it is not unexpected. Oh, I tried to program a perfect world, but it's not unexpected, and this not beyond a measure of control. What was it that Neo was trying to do, as were all the people of Zion? Get a measure of self-control. What is the architect of the matrix telling Neo? You're just a stupid program in the matrix, and you appear to not be in control. However, you are in a measure of control, which has led you inexorably here. You're still in some form of control, which is why you're here. What question did he ask the architect? Why are you here? Because you're still in control, and so is everyone else in Zion. All you patriots that have gone ahead and done your UCC once, do you believe you are totally in control outside the matrix? Well, I got good news and bad news. You are still in a form of some control not unexpected. Why, Neo, are you here? Because you still sense there is a form of control of the matrix over you. Now, I answered your question, but you came back and said you have not answered my question. And so look what the architect does. Is he going to argue with Neo? He says, quite right. Interesting, that was quicker than the others. Neo immediately picks up on the change in topic and says, others? How many? The architect. The matrix is older than you know. I prefer counting from the emergence of one integral anomaly to the emergence of the next, in which case this is the sixth version. What did the architect just say? He just said there have been 5 rebellions by patriots before. 5 leaders of 5 rebellions having come to the mainframe of the matrix for the purpose of shutting us down and giving you your freedom. I won't measure the existence of this world in years. I prefer to measure it in terms of the number of the rebellion. And you are the 6th person to arrive, the 6th rebellion. Is the architect telling us something? Neo goes, 2 possible explanations. Why has no one told me? Or no one knows about the rebellions? Architect, precisely. As you are undoubtedly gathering, the anomaly is systemic, creating fluctuations in even the most simplistic equations. Don't you love how college profs and Greek-trained people speak? In highfalutin terms in order to tend to confuse us? When he's telling you the anomaly is systemic, what is he telling you? What's built in the matrix? The people of Zion, the rebels, are built into the program of the matrix. You guys are still part of the system. It's systemic. What did the oracle tell Neo was her interest? Why was she there? The future. How are we going to get to the future? Together. Why do the patriots and the one world government have to work together? Because they're inexorably linked. You can't have one without the other. If they destroy the patriots, they destroy themselves. If you destroy the government, you destroy yourself. You still think that the movie The Matrix is just so much hopped up garbage with a little bit of kung fu with some fancy special photographic effects going on here? You go back into the Old Testament where there is a dream in Daniel about the beasts, and there's a dream of 4 beasts and a dream of 6 beasts, and the 6 beasts or the 4 beasts are nations, i.e. their matrices. And in the 6th beast metaphor, you had the nations or the matrices that were, are, and will be. You had Egypt. You had Assyria. You had Babylonians. You had the Medes and Persians. You had the Greeks. And the 6th one was the Roman system, which is still with us. And the 7th was to be the stone kingdom with the Messiah as the chief cornerstone. You have the architect of the world system saying that there have been 5 rebellions and now a 6th rebellion, bringing in the 7th kingdom, which Morpheus tells us is going to be a kingdom which is not going to fight a war. This kingdom is going to see peace. Is it going to be the Stone Kingdom? Is the Wachowski brothers telling us through the mouth of the architect that there have been rebels that have thrown off the world's past 6 systems of international matrices that have enslaved and kept the people in bondage, and that they never succeeded? All they did was restart a new world system. Nothing changed. Is this what the architect is telling Neo? Is this in harmony with what the Scripture has been telling the people of Zion? The matrix is older than you knew. No, I prefer counting from the emergence of one integral anomaly to the emergence of the next, in which case this is the 6th version, the sixth international one world government. Two possible explanations. Man has never looked at history, and therefore he's destined to repeat it again. The architect goes precisely. You are undoubtedly gathering, the anomaly is systemic, creating fluctuations in even the most simplistic equations. Neo, choice. The problem is choice. He's right back on that old concept again, isn't it? The architect. The first matrix I designed was quite naturally perfect. Garden of Eden? It was a work of art, flawless, sublime, in triumph, equaled only by its monumental failure. The inevitability of its doom is apparent to me now as a consequence of its imperfection inherent in every human being. Fundamental sin. The desire is, my comment, the desire to be in control of one's life for gain or commerce instead of for service. What happened when the serpent drafted Eve? Did the serpent want something of commercial value? You bet he wanted to acquire something that belonged to the Creator, which he did not have a right. How was he going to acquire something of commercial value? Through the agency of the Creator's creation. What he did to Eve was to solicit a commercial consideration. Creating a world of commerce in the Garden of Eden, which was fabricated and created for the purpose of service and not commercial sale of something that did not belong to the seller. And so by one man, commerce entered into the world, and all destruction as a result of commerce, because all commerce is theft. And they tell you commerce is based on weights and measures. Why would you need to weigh anything? Why would you need to measure anything if you were going to serve your fellow man? The only purpose for weights and measures is for theft. So they convince you that by accurate weights and measures there will be no theft. You have got caught in the act in the why, which was already decided. The act or the thing. You did not ask the why do you need to measure or weigh it. And so what you see is the first creation was imperfect because of the nature of man to go into commerce, to get something, to own something, to take it away from his brother so that you could live and he will die. And so the architect said, and so I redesigned my system based on your history to more accurately reflect the very and grotesqueries of your nature. However, I was again frustrated by failure. I have since come to understand that the answer eluded me because it required a lesser mind, or perhaps a mind less bound by the parameters of perfection. Let's put it in the negative affirmative if we're going to be intelligent. What kind of mind would that be? A mind that does not assume good in men, but rather assumes evil? Is that not what all commerce is about? The assumption of evil? Then the answer was stumbled on by another, an intuitive program initially created to investigate certain aspects of the human psyche. If I am the father of the matrix, she would undoubtedly be its mother. Neo, the oracle, is the mother of the matrix, a running program. The architect, please, as I was saying, she stumbled upon a solution whereby nearly 99% of all subjects accepted the program as long as they were given a choice. What did Neo keep wanting? A choice. Just give me a choice. That's what freedom's all about, a choice. You idiot. Listen to what the architect says now. Even if they were only aware of the choice at an unconscious level, i.e., if they are given an opportunity to presume that they can vote for the outcome, will they be sufficiently happy to presume that they are free? Absolutely. Isn't that what the war in Iraq is all about? To give them the pretense of an election, to have a democratic government. Hello, what change of choice is that going to make for the common Iraqi? Zero, but he will be happy. 99% of them will be thrilled. The architect goes on. While this answer functioned, it was obviously fundamentally flawed, thus creating the otherwise contradictory systemic anomaly that, if left unchecked, might threaten the system itself. Ergo, those that refuse the program, while a minority, if unchecked, would constitute an escalating probability of disaster. What has he just said? We've even given the people a presumption of the choice, even if they're happy to slumber in the matrix. We've told them that under certain conditions they can do really crazy, erratic, stupid things. They can learn about the people of Zion and leave the matrix. Hello, you got choice, you got freedom. Escape the matrix and fight for your liberties. That's an anomaly. It's a systemic failure, it appears, creating the possibility that the 1% that are in supposed rebellion against the programming of the matrix and the system could create an uprising that in and of itself would destroy the matrix, thus bringing the whole program to doom by creating the illusion of the liberty of your choice. But not to worry. We've got it covered. Neo says, this is about Zion. Nobody ever said Neo was stupid. He grasps concepts really quick. The architect, you are here because Zion is about to be destroyed. Its every living inhabitant terminated. Its entire existence eradicated. What are the machines going to do then? If they're going to eradicate everybody in Zion, what are they going to do? Are they without humans? No. They got 99% of the humans tied up in the matrix. They're not without humans. They got what they need, don't they? No. Yes and no. Follow where he goes here. Neo goes, bullshit. The architect comes back and goes, denial is the most predictable of all human responses. But rest assured, this will be the 6th time we have destroyed it. And we have become exceedingly efficient at it. Who are the people of Zion? Now, for those of you that haven't seen the movie, you're going to have to make some assumptions and presumptions here, having not seen the people of Zion. You may be amazed to hear, and all you Christians want to shut your ears, but in the first half hour of this story, the inhabitants of Zion are having a public meeting in their city deep under the earth. And they're having a public orgy, which by the review of some of the movie reviewers that were privy to the filming of the orgy scene in Los Angeles at the beginning of the filming of these two successive stories of the Matrix, Reloaded and Revolution, made the statement that at the orgy that they filmed, there were probably a lot of marriages that were going to result from this scene and this filming episode. Now, what's on the camera, remember this is an R-rated picture, but what's on the camera really for R-rated is really the reason the movie got R-rated is because if you kick anyone to the head, it's an automatically R-rated picture. And since many people, many times beyond count, are kicked to the head, this is an R-rated film. Anything else you see in this film, and any language in this film, is, believe me, including the orgy scene, much less than most PG films, not even PG-13 films, coming out of Hollywood. For those that have seen the film, would you agree? Absolutely. However, knowing that the inhabitants of Zion were involved in a public orgy, if I had to ask you, who do you presume and assume the people of Zion to represent in this story, how would you now answer me? Do you want to tell me that the people of Zion represent the overcomers of God's kingdom that have come out of the matrix of this world? Not hardly. And in fact, the main issue with the people of the matrix is not the danger that they really pose to the matrix at all. It's just that when you are involved in the programming of this matrix being systemic, it requires every now and then, just for the purpose of the system, that we take out the old matrix and restart it again. And nothing is going to change. It's just part of the system programming, that's all. Well, it's a reboot. Yeah, restart. Okay? And remember, they have become exceedingly efficient at it. the architect comes back and says, the function of the one. Who is the one? Neo. And he's standing there in the room in front of the architect at the mainframe for the purpose of shutting down the matrix so that the people of Zion will be able to make their choice. Excuse me, what kind of choices do the people of Zion seem to be making? Really good ones? No. Let me ask you a question. If being able to leave the matrix so you can make choice is going to bring peace in your life, why are all the people of Zion fighting a war against the matrix? I thought war was the opposite of peace. If they're making war against isn't that what the patriots are doing, making war against government? So who are the patriots? People of Zion. What is the system going to do with them? Kill them, take them out. What are we doing against all of the rebels of Islam? Taking them out. What are we doing about all of the IRS rebels in this country? Taking them out. We've got to reboot. It's time to reboot. It's a new millennium. We've got to reboot. If you think the patriots are the cure, they're just part of the system. They're no different than everybody stuck in the matrix. They're still at war. They're still fighting. They believe they have more choice. What is their choice? To fight and make war and to get killed, civilly or physically. They're going to be energy for the matrix. Hello? What is the Matrix movie telling those with eyes to see and ears to hear? Here's our buddy going, the function of the one is now to return to the source, allowing the temporary dissemination of the code you carry, reinserting the prime program. What is the architect saying? You're here to help us reboot again. Listen to this. After which, all the people in Zion are going to be destroyed. Our machines are almost there. They're going to wipe them all out. There's superior force going in there, and we're exceedingly efficient at destroying the rebels whenever we need to. Okay, so the matrix is going to be a world without rebels. Wrong. Listen to this. This is the architect. After which we use you, because after all, hasn't Neo now got the genes of the best rebels we've got? And we're rebooting the system for better programming. This is Windows XP, man, much better than Windows ME. We need better rebels and better agents. So we're going to use your genes to help reboot the system to give us more competition. What does more competition do in commerce? Create more profits and better products. So we're just improving the matrix. This is version 6.0. After which you will be required to select from the matrix, not from Zion, they're dead, from the matrix, 16 females and 7 males to rebuild what? Zion. They can't live without Zion. We just need better competition from them. the latest version. The idiots down there won't compete anymore. What is 23 in numbers? We're going to restart with 23 humans. 23 is death. They're going to build a population of Zion built on what? Life or death? Death. Because if you rebuilt Zion on life, it would be able to overtake the matrix, which is built on death.